The Marvel's Avengers game is currently in beta, and if I'm being honest, it's just looking pretty good so far. Of course, the graphics aren't that great, and there's a few bugs and stuff, but I mean, that's pretty much what beta is all about. The fans get a chance to play it, and then tell the developers everything that's wrong with it so they can fix it before the actual release, which will be next month. And I'm super excited for this game, and we already know about 2 DLC characters we're getting in the form of Hawkeye, who was announced at the last war table, and then we also know that Spider Man is coming as a PlayStation exclusive, so that is super exciting. But one of the things that people are looking forward to the most in this game are the other DLC characters. Like, what other characters are going to be featured in this game other than the 6 that are available at launch? And at this point, people are pretty much theorizing, like Captain Marvel, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, and all that stuff. And it would make a lot of sense, but there's going to be a lot more characters in this game than we thought there was, because there was apparently a new data leak, and someone on Reddit made a post about it, and I'll leave the link to that down in the description below so you can check it out for yourself. But there was literally a leak of a whole bunch of characters that are supposedly going to be in this game as DLC characters at some point, and it's crazy because I think if you add up all these characters plus the 6 that we already have in the game, I think it'd be about 20, it'd be over 20 characters, I think. So this is crazy, and then it also brings into the question, like, how often are these characters going to be released? Because we know they're going to keep releasing new stuff all the time, but are we going to get like a new character every month, a new character every other month? Because the developers have said that you're going to be surprised at how often a new character is included in the game. So it's definitely going to be really interesting, but let's go ahead and jump right in and go over all these characters that are supposedly going to be in the game as DLC characters. And I've kind of split them up into groups here. The first ones are the obvious ones that you would expect, because like they're a big part in the movies, so it makes sense if they were in here. But then the second part is where you get into characters that aren't in movies, at least not yet. But I'm definitely excited to be seeing them in the game. So let's start off with Ant-Man, probably one of the most obvious characters, because we literally saw Hank Pym in one of the trailers for the game like months ago. But the interesting thing here is that the specific file says Ant-Man 2. So this is what makes me think that maybe Ant-Man 2 is Scott Lang, because, Scott Lang is the character we know better from the movies as Ant-Man. And we know that we're going to have Hank Pym in the game, but maybe Hank Pym won't actually be Ant-Man in the game. Or maybe we'll be getting 2 different Ant-Mans, and we'll be getting a Hank Pym Ant-Man and a Scott Lang Ant-Man, which I think would just be great, because I love both versions of the character. And, honestly, maybe they could even do Scott Lang as Ant-Man, maybe Hank Pym as Yellow Jacket. So that'd definitely be something interesting to do. But you can't really have Ant-Man without doing the Wasp, so of course the Wasp is on this list. Now, I'm not sure what kind of design they would go for, because we know that these designs for the game, they're like loosely based off of the MCU, but at the same time they're still putting their own spin on it and stuff. So I'm not sure if she would have an MCU-esque suit, or if it would be more comic accurate. I'm good with it either way, but I just love this character, so I'm excited to see more of her. Then we have Black Panther, another obvious one after his first solo movie made over $1 billion. So, yeah, he's one of the most popular characters in the MCU, and he's probably going to be one of the new leaders of the Avengers after now Iron Man and Captain America are gone. So he's definitely going to be playing a big part in the future of Marvel, so it makes sense that he'll be playable in this game. But then we also have Captain Marvel, who we kind of already have our first look at in the game. There were some pictures posted on social media of Kamala's bedroom, and in her bedroom there is a poster of Captain Marvel, and as you can see, this is what Captain Marvel looks like in the game. So if they already have a character design for her, and if she's going to have a bright future in the MCU, then it makes sense that we'll be getting her in this game as a playable character. Plus, Kamala Khan, she's one of the main characters of the game. The whole reason she wants to become a superhero is because Captain Marvel is her idol, so of course Captain Marvel will be here. Another obvious one, Doctor Strange. I think this will be a really cool character in the game just because he's going to be so different. And we know that that's one of the big things about this game is that every character is going to be so different. Like, even though, like, Hawkeye and Black Widow, they're both, like, super good hand-to-hand combat fighters and they both have a weapon, they're still going to be completely different. But Doctor Strange, like, there really is no other character that we know about that's coming into this game that is going to be anywhere near as cool as him, because he's going to be having magic and all that stuff, and I don't know if he'll be able to, like, teleport or something, but I think that'd be really cool. Plus, we do know that we're going to be getting, like, solo stories for each of these DLC characters. We already know about one for Hawkeye, and we know we're getting one for Spider Man. So I think it'll be really cool to do a solo story on Doctor Strange. If we would get to fight someone like Dormammu or Nightmare, that'd be really cool, or Baron Mordo. There's just so many possibilities with Doctor Strange, and I just feel like his magic would look so cool in the game. But then we have the Falcon, another one that makes a lot of sense with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming out. Well, we're not exactly sure when because it has been officially delayed. It was actually supposed to come out this month originally, but now it's looking at maybe a November release date, hopefully. So hopefully we can get that. But Falcon is becoming the new Captain America in the MCU, so it would be interesting if, he'll probably have a Captain America suit in the game, which would definitely be really cool. So then you can have him as both Falcon and Falcon Captain America. So that would be cool. But another character from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and the other half of that title, is the Winter Soldier. Another character that makes a lot of sense. And I'm actually thinking that it would be cool if they could release these two characters to coincide with the release of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like, maybe it'll be like to celebrate the release or the debut of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Disney Plus, we're releasing two new characters, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I think that'd just be a great way of going about it with that. It would just make a lot of sense to do that. Plus, he's had a lot of time in the MCU. He's literally been there since Captain America, the first Avenger. He's been there in the MCU for about 10 years, maybe. So it makes sense that he'll be a part of this game. But speaking of coinciding with Disney Plus release dates, we have Scarlet Witch, another one that makes sense, another big player in the MCU, and she's definitely going to have a bright future as she's getting her own show alongside Vision, who is one of my favorite Avengers, so I'm super excited that we'll be seeing him here in this game. And just like with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we could see these two characters released to coincide with the WandaVision release date. Like, hey, WandaVision is on Disney Plus now, so go get these characters on the Avengers game. And I mean, that's just good marketing right there. But then the final obvious character is War Machine. He's literally been in the MCU since the beginning. Iron Man 1, even though he was played by a different actor. But he hasn't really done that much in the MCU, but he like I said, he has been there the whole time. So it does make sense that he'll be here. Although, from the actual data leak, it does seem like he won't actually be his own separate playable character, and instead he'll be similar to the Hulkbuster, where it'll be like if you're playing as Iron Man, like you can summon the Hulkbuster, but in this case it'll be if you're playing as Iron Man, then you can transform into War Machine. So technically he will be his own playable character, but he'll just be a part of Iron Man, which kind of sucks because it would have been cool to see his own unique weapons and stuff. But if we're being honest, Iron Man and War Machine are pretty much the same character. Like, as far as the suit goes, it's pretty much just different colors and, like, sure, minimal different weapons. And like I said, that is one of the big things about this game, is that every character is going to be so different. So it does kind of make sense that they wouldn't want to make a whole entire different character if they're going to be so similar. So that does make sense. Obviously, it is a little disappointing. But you know what isn't disappointing is because now we're getting into the second group of characters where they're definitely not characters I would have expected to actually be in the game. Like, when I've watched people's top lists of top 10 characters I want to see in the Avengers game, they're characters that are like you wouldn't expect to actually be in the game, but you really want to see them in there. Like, for example, Quake, who I absolutely loved on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which, by the way, series finale a couple days ago. Super sad. Go check out my review and breakdown on my channel. But she is a great character. We've been seeing her lately on the Marvel cartoons like Marvel Rising, and we may even be seeing her return to the MCU at some point, hopefully. So she is a great character, and I would love to see her in this game. And plus, another very unique character. Like, she's going to be very different from all the other characters, and she's just got such a cool power set. So I'd love to see her in the game. And then another one, Kate Bishop. Now, this character isn't really that different. It's literally Hawkeye, but female. But it'll still be cool to see her. Also because we know we're getting the Hawkeye Disney Plus series hopefully next fall maybe. And that series is basically going to be all about Clint Barton training Kate Bishop to become the new Hawkeye. So this is a character that, once again, like with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier and like with WandaVision, could coincide with that release date. So maybe when Hawkeye releases on Disney Plus, they'll release Kate Bishop alongside that, because we already know we're getting Hawkeye like a little bit after launch. So yeah, it's an interesting character, interesting choice, but I'm definitely excited to see her in this game. And then another interesting one that I never would have expected is Captain Marvel, because we're getting Captain Marvel, but Marvel is, a different character. He's definitely an interesting character. I haven't really seen too much of him as of late. Like, I used to see him in the cartoons all the time, but now he's like not showing up anywhere. We thought he was going to be in the Captain Marvel movie, but then, well, actually, technically Marvel it was just female. So yeah, if you don't know who Captain Marvel is basically Captain Marvel, but the male version, and he came first. So just go ahead, give it a quick Google. Marvel, two separate words there. So yeah, definitely not a character I would have expected, but it is definitely going to be cool to be seeing him in this game. Another interesting one is Mockingbird, who we did also see in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but other than that, we haven't really seen much of her in Marvel as of late, like whether that's the MCU or cartoons or comics really even. So she's been kind of missing as of late, but she's a really cool character that I would love to see in this game. And yes, she'd be very similar to Black Widow and Hawkeye, but I feel like they can still make her different enough to give her her own unique character. So definitely another interesting choice there. Another interesting one, which I'm very excited for, and also makes a lot of sense, is She-Hulk, because she's joining the MCU. She is getting her own Disney Plus show, so once again, could coincide with that Disney Plus release date, which, by the way, I don't think that show will actually come out until probably 2022. So if you think about if they want to do this and release this to coincide with that release date, like, these characters, they could spread them out enough so that it will last like 2 or 3 years here, releasing all these characters. So that's going to be insane. Plus, she's a cool character, and you may be saying like, well, she's just a female version of the Hulk, but she's actually really different, because she's not like the big beast like the Hulk. Like, she actually thinks normally, and she can't transform back into Jennifer Walters. So definitely interesting, definitely makes a lot of sense, and I'm excited to see her in this game. But those are all of the 20 plus characters that we will be getting in the Marvel's Avengers game as DLC characters, at least from what we can tell from this data leak. There's definitely some really cool characters in here that I'm excited for. Honestly, pretty much all of them, because there's the obvious ones that we have in the MCU as big characters that obviously you want to play as, but then there's also ones like Quake and She-Hulk and Mockingbird that you don't see very often, but it's really cool that they're getting included here. And I'm hoping that this isn't it, though, because I'd like to see some other characters, like maybe like a Daredevil or Moon Knight, or maybe Ghost Rider, or Blade, Punisher, characters like that. I think that'd be really cool. Iron Fist, Nova, there's a lot of possibilities here with Marvel, and I don't think they'll include any Fantastic Four or X-Men characters here, even though they're allowed to. they might even do like a full-on X-Men game, which would be awesome. But for now, this is the Avengers game, so we're pretty much only getting Avengers characters, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing all of these characters here. But let me know what you guys think. Which of these characters are you looking forward to play as the most in the Marvel's Avengers game? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit that subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the Marvel life.